USC gives away yet another game. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. If this is your first time, great to have you. I am the Sports Judge. Make sure you like this video and hit the subscribe button. Maybe this is the same USC team as last year. Looks like last year's team again. Same exact team. It's like having flashbacks, but it's reality. I am so sick of this shit. I was excited for USC football at the beginning of the season when we looked impressive defeating LSU. Nothing has changed. The season opener versus LSU was just a team that played with our emotions. And me, of course, my expectations are way too high for this team. They got our hopes so damn high in Los Angeles. And once again, the one thing they're so good at is building us up for a huge letdown. But you can't be let down if you don't have your hopes up high. And I want to get excited, but I can't anymore because I don't trust Lincoln Riley. I did, but we have been deceived so many times that I just can't. And this isn't a shocking take. Riley can't set the team up to handle pressure situations, and we never beat top teams. Their first year in the Big Ten, and definitely one of the worst impressions. You make yourselves look bad. I'm disgusted with Lincoln Riley. I am. I should not have expected anything different when he's already shown me who he is. And here's the thing. For me, I don't know why I expected it to be different. I don't. No matter how good it looked early on as the season now grows older, USC takes one step forward, then two steps back. Can never have good things with this team. Playoff hopes are greatly impacted. Horrible gut punch of a loss in a big home game versus a ranked opponent. USC suffers a devastating loss, effectively ending their playoff hopes. A massive part of why this team fails, in all honesty. They can't finish games. It's a continued trend of awful defense and baffling late game decision making. Hard to have faith that things will get better under Lincoln Riley's watch. And right now, like most folks here in the Southland, I'm wrestling with doubt, questioning everything, and still have a hard time believing in this team when everything is falling apart. The loss to Minnesota was the point the season started to go down the drain. This time, they fall to Penn State. The game ending like that makes this whole season a failure in my eyes. The way this USC team wets the bed and decides to completely disappear in a game of this magnitude is daunting. 3 games they gave away with the lead in the fourth quarter. Not getting a stop on 2 different fourth downs and clock management is what did it Saturday versus Penn State. That's the worst part about all of this. You can't point to one thing, and that's why they lost, and that's why they needed change. No, everything about USC sucked, and they failed so far this season. No question. Disgusting loss. And that's the season. Just like that. They had it, then blew it. And that game on Saturday, that's the kind of game that takes the life out of a team. And I will say, because after yesterday, I'm just going to say this season stopped meaning anything to me after they lost to Penn State. It's a wasted failure of a season. And it just go back to a few weeks ago. I'm sitting there watching USC and I'm going, this is some impressive stuff. I'm blown away by the defense. The season overall was amazing, at least to start, but in the last 2 games, the defense just forgot how to hit and stop the run. They looked pretty bad in the fourth quarter and could never really get going on either side of the ball yesterday. Painful doesn't describe blowing a 17-point lead at home. Embarrassing loss for USC. I'm truly convinced this team can't finish a game. Start what you finish. I always say that. Start what you finish. We We still have to put up with this shit. They cannot play complementary football. Offense doesn't make enough plays down the stretch. Defense can't hold up. And a big thing I noticed with USC is that they have a coach who is not only soft and weak-minded, but really has no clue what to do in big situations. Yesterday couldn't be more of a perfect example of that. For that game to go to overtime, USC should have never been in overtime to begin with. And then I don't know what Miller Moss was doing when he threw a terrible pass to a wide open receiver that would have won USC the game. You have to complete that pass to your receiver. From there, the game spiraled out of control as he throws a momentum-changing interception, blowing a 26 lead. And whining about the refs is always unbecoming. You know, there are always bad calls, but they rarely ever decide the games. So nice try. Nice try. You guys can try to make that lame excuse all you want. If you're going to use that as an excuse, then here's an idea. Don't blow a double-digit lead. It's just as simple as that. The officiating was horrible. Yes, I will admit. The officiating was terrible. But so were the Trojans in the second half. The refs' bad calls only affect the game if you were up big and let the opposing team come back to beat you. You shouldn't blow a 17-point lead. Never let it be close enough that the refs can decide the outcome. Teams win when they execute and the other team doesn't. And USC didn't execute. Penn State did. When you allow a team back in the game after being up big, you should lose. You deserve to lose. Tough calls, but USC not only shot themselves in the foot, they committed suicide every single time they lose. Impressive first half until they abandoned the run game. As always, USC was moving it on the ground. They gassed a great Penn State run defense in the first half, racking up 148 yards on just 11 carries against a unit that came in averaging 2.5 yards per carry. Woody Marks finished with 111 yards on 20 carries, and Quentin Joyner had 2 touchdowns in a resurgence. He had that costly fumble in the prior week's loss to Minnesota. USC's defense held strong, too, in the first half with Desmond Stevens making a key play. It was another game where USC could taste victory and instead came up empty-handed and shell-shocked. It was the reversal of a dominant first half. The first half, USC was rolling, but obviously nowhere near good enough to dispel the misery of the second half. They turned into literal morons, in the second half. I don't get it. I really don't get it. What a weird half. The defense dialed up zero pressure. The secondary played 15 to 20 yards off the ball, and the linebackers got lost in coverage. Things that make you feel better is that the O-line has shown improvement each week. The defense is clearly well coached. For me, I think the next 5 games will tell us if the lesson have been learned from tough losses. Los Angeles is panicking. What's going on with the Trojans? This is officially a coaching problem. This isn't a talent problem. It's a coaching catastrophe. Too much talent for this to happen. When it's just a part of the team not functioning and then completely different the next week, that's when I think you realize this is on Lincoln Riley. Great teams and great coaches know how to finish. They have that killer mentality to close out games and put opponents away. And for whatever reason, USC under Riley just hasn't found it. And by getting away from the run, you're missing the chance to control the clock, slow down the pace, and wear down the opposing team. Stick to the run game and keep the defense fresh. USC is another West Coast team getting bruised, battered, and exposed by the NFL style of the Big Ten. Gave the game away because the team plays soft and gets out physicaled in the second half. It's as if they tried to give the game away to the opposing team. Here you go. We'll let you have the ball and we'll miss tackles and not stop you on third down and let you score. It was giveaways. Dumb mental mistakes. Lincoln Riley and USC crossed midfield with 1:40 left, driving to win the game. You then were going for it on 3rd and 7 with 14 seconds left. That was legitimately some of the worst coaching and clock management. Even if you convert, it's like a 50-yard field goal. Soft this team in the Big Ten, and it's not even close. That's on the coach. Lincoln Riley doesn't get them to play hard. It's becoming more clear why this talented team is constantly losing football games. Their style on offense is a lack of physicality. Their style on defense is giving up the big plays. USC with the worst clock management at the end of the game. I think it's really worthy of note that Lincoln Riley is a completely incompetent football coach. Can't win the big game at USC. I'm at loss for words. You should have never let Penn State get in a position to tie the game. You let them go right down the field and convert 2 4th and longs and lost the game. Just an inexcusably bad and dumb game that was played by USC. I honestly have a lot of bad takeaways for USC in that loss. The same things keep happening. Lack of situational awareness, bad play calls, defensive meltdowns. I don't feel bad for them at all. And if they win next week, I wouldn't exactly feel any better about this team. When a team beats you like that in the second half, you're not a very good team. Don't want to hear anything about the playoffs. Every game, it seems they always find a way to amaze you with stupidity. Another bad weekend for the Trojans, knowing that USC isn't as good as we thought it was, now gives me clarity on this being a bad team. The team, particularly under Riley, is soft and complacent. We see it week in and week out with this team. So no, USC is not a playoff team. And I think their playoff hopes came to an end. They can start thinking about next season. That Penn State game was huge. Here at home, they had a chance to win it. They were leading in the game. They should have won this game, and they lose the game. So no. You're blowing leads like that, you're not ready for the playoffs. I'm sorry. And Lincoln Riley, right about now, he's on my bad boy list. He's on my naughtiness list. He's not a likable guy right now. Because he shows week in and week out that he cannot coach this team. That these players are soft and they can't finish games and he can't win the big one. And that was the thing with him at Oklahoma. And now you're seeing it once again here at USC as USC was exposed once again. It's been that kind of year. Thanks for watching, everyone. Really appreciate the love and support. Check out all my content. I got a lot of great stuff coming up. I got some NFL stuff coming up later. We definitely gonna get into Dodgers Mets a little bit later. I'm excited about that game. That game 1 is tonight. I will definitely be locked in and watching that game. But we'll talk soon. I'm getting out of here now. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to check out the content. As always, appreciate y'all. I'm out of here now. Talk to you guys very soon.